What if I told you that the Honda Civic you're considering could either be the most reliable car you'll ever own, lasting 300,000 miles with basic maintenance, or a mechanical nightmare that drains your bank account with constant repairs and leaves you stranded on the side of the road? Imagine buying a used Civic based on Honda's legendary reputation for reliability, only to discover you've purchased one of the few generations plagued by catastrophic engine failures, transmission problems, and paint issues that never should have made it past quality control. The truth is, while the Honda Civic has earned its reputation as one of the most dependable compact cars ever built, spanning over 50 years and 11 generations, not every Civic is created equal. Some generations represent the absolute pinnacle of automotive reliability and value, still running strong decades after they rolled off the assembly line. Others represent dark periods in Honda's history, when cost-cutting and rushed engineering created vehicles that betrayed the trust of loyal Honda buyers. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Civic history to reveal the 3 generations you should avoid at all costs, and the 4 generations that represent some of the most reliable cars ever built. Whether you're shopping for a used Civic on a budget, or you're simply curious about automotive history, what you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you view this iconic nameplate. Let's get started. The 3 worst Civic models you should avoid. 2006-2011, 8th generation Civic. Let's start with the first generation you should avoid, the 8th generation Civic, produced from 2006 to 2011. This might surprise people because these Civics are still common on roads today, but this generation suffered from significant issues that make it a risky purchase in the used market. The most serious problem affecting the 8th generation Civic is engine block cracking in the 1.8-liter R18 engine. This catastrophic failure occurs without warning, typically between 80,000 and 150,000 miles, when cracks develop in the engine block itself. The cracks allow coolant to leak externally or into the combustion chambers, leading to overheating, white smoke from the exhaust, and ultimately complete engine failure. This isn't a wear and tear issue or something caused by poor maintenance. It's a fundamental design flaw in the engine block casting. What makes this particularly devastating is that there's no economical fix. You can't repair a cracked engine block. You need complete engine replacement, which costs between $3,000 and $5,000. For a vehicle that might only be worth $5,000 to $8,000 in the used market, this repair bill often totals the car. Honda did extend the warranty for some affected vehicles, but many owners discovered the problem after the warranty expired. The automatic transmission in the 8th generation Civic is another major failure point. The 5-speed automatic is prone to premature failure, typically between 100,000 and 150,000 miles, though some fail much earlier. Symptoms include harsh shifting, slipping between gears, failure to engage properly, and eventually complete transmission failure. Replacement costs $3,000 to $4,000. Another potentially car-totaling repair. Paint quality on the 8th generation Civic is notoriously poor, particularly on certain colors. The clear coat delaminates and peels, starting on horizontal surfaces like the hood and roof, and eventually spreading to the entire vehicle. Once the clear coat fails, the underlying paint and metal are exposed to the elements, leading to rust and corrosion. Honda faced a class action lawsuit over this paint defect but only covered certain model years and colors. The interior quality took a step backward in this generation. The dashboard plastics are cheap and prone to cracking, particularly in hot climates. The fabric on the seats wears quickly and begins pilling and fraying within a few years. The overall build quality feels cheaper than previous Civic generations, with more rattles and squeaks developing over time. 2012-2015 9th generation Civic early years. Moving forward, we come to the early years of the 9th generation Civic, specifically the 2012 to 2015 models. Honda redesigned the Civic for 2012, and the initial response was so negative that Honda took the unprecedented step of significantly revising the car mid-generation. The 2012 Civic was heavily criticized for its cheap interior materials, which represented a significant downgrade from the previous generation. Honda attempted to cut costs aggressively, and the result was a cabin filled with hard, scratchy plastics, thin upholstery, and an overall ambiance that felt more appropriate for a budget economy car than a mainstream Honda. The interior looked dated the moment it was released. The driving dynamics also took a significant step backward. The 2012 Civic suspension was tuned for comfort to the point of being mushy and disconnected. Body roll was excessive in corners, steering feedback was nearly non-existent, and the overall driving experience felt numb and uninspiring. For a car that had always balanced practicality with engaging driving characteristics, this was a shocking regression. Honda did respond to the criticism, introducing a revised 2013 model with improved interior materials, retuned suspension, and better steering feel. However, these early 9th-generation models still suffer from other issues. The continuously variable transmission exhibits droning and roughness that many drivers find annoying. The CVT also tends to make the engine work harder than feels necessary, resulting in increased noise during acceleration. The infotainment system in these early models is primitive by modern standards, and poorly executed even for its time. The touchscreen response is sluggish, the graphics look outdated, and the interface is non-intuitive. The backup camera quality is poor with grainy resolution. For vehicles from the early 2010s, the Civic's tech package feels disappointingly cheap. Build quality issues are more common in these early 9th-generation Civics than in other generations. Owners report rattles and squeaks developing relatively early, particularly from the dashboard and door panels. The paint quality, while improved from the 8th generation's clear coat disaster, is still thin and chips easily. 2001-2005 7th generation Civic automatic transmission models. Our 3rd generation to avoid comes with a specific caveat. The 7th generation Civic from 2001 to 2005, but only models equipped with the automatic transmission. The manual transmission versions are generally reliable, but the automatic models are plagued by transmission failures that have become legendary for all the wrong reasons. The automatic transmission in the 7th generation Civic suffers from a design flaw that causes premature failure, typically between 60,000 and 100,000 miles. The transmission develops slipping between gears, harsh or delayed shifts, and eventually complete failure. The problem is so widespread that it's not a matter of if the transmission will fail, but when. The root cause is inadequate lubrication and cooling in certain areas of the transmission. The pressure control solenoid also fails frequently, causing shifting problems and internal damage. When these transmissions fail, simple repairs rarely provide lasting fixes. The proper solution is complete transmission replacement or rebuild, costing between $2,000 and $4,000. For a vehicle from this era, that repair bill often exceeds the car's value. What makes this particularly frustrating is that the 7th generation Civic is otherwise a solid, reliable vehicle. The engines are robust and long-lasting, the chassis is well-engineered, the interior is practical and durable, and the overall design has aged reasonably well. But the automatic transmission is such a significant failure point that it overshadows all the positive attributes. Beyond the transmission issues, the 7th generation Civic's head gasket can fail prematurely, particularly in the 1.7-liter engine. Symptoms include overheating, coolant loss, white smoke from the exhaust, and rough running. Head gasket replacement costs $1,000 to $1,500, not as catastrophic as transmission failure, but still a significant expense. The problem typically appears around 120,000 to 150,000 miles. If you're considering a 7th generation Civic, your best bet is to find one with a manual transmission. The manual versions avoid the transmission issues entirely and represent solid, reliable transportation. But automatic transmission models are ticking time bombs that will eventually require expensive transmission work. The 4 best Civics you can buy with low budget. Ford 1996-2006 generation Civic. Now let's shift to the good news and discuss the Civic generations that represent exceptional reliability and value. First up is the 6th generation Civic from 1996 to 2000, which many enthusiasts consider one of the best Civics ever built, and one of the most reliable cars of any generation from any manufacturer. The 6th generation Civic was engineered during Honda's peak reliability period. The engines, whether the 1.6-liter in the base models or the higher output versions in the City and EX trims, are legendary for their longevity. It's common to find 6th generation Civics with over 300,000 miles still running on their original engines, with nothing more than routine maintenance. The timing belts need replacement every 90,000 miles, but aside from that scheduled maintenance, These engines are remarkably trouble-free. The transmissions, both manual and automatic, are robust and long-lasting in this generation. The manual transmissions are particularly excellent, with smooth shifting, precise engagement, and remarkable durability. The automatic transmissions don't suffer from the catastrophic failures that plague later generations. With regular fluid changes, these transmissions routinely exceed 200,000 miles. The driving dynamics of the 6th generation Civic remain impressive even by modern standards. The steering is direct and communicative, providing excellent feedback about road conditions. The suspension strikes an ideal balance between ride comfort and handling precision, absorbing bumps while remaining composed through corners. The chassis feels rigid and well-sorted, contributing to a confident, engaging driving experience. The interior design is functional and ergonomic, with excellent visibility and intuitive controls. While the materials are simple and not particularly upscale, they're durable and age well. The seats are supportive and comfortable for long drives, and the driving position is excellent. The dashboard layout is logical with easy-to-read gauges and controls that fall readily to hand. Fuel economy is excellent, particularly with the base 1.6-liter engine and manual transmission. Real-world fuel economy of 35 miles per gallon or better is achievable in mixed driving. The larger engines in the EX and SI models still deliver respectable fuel economy while providing more engaging performance. Parts availability and aftermarket support for the 6th generation Civic are exceptional. Because these cars were produced in huge numbers and have a devoted enthusiast following, you can find virtually any part you might need at reasonable prices. The mechanical simplicity means that many repairs and maintenance tasks are DIY-friendly, keeping ownership costs low. 2016-2021 10th Generation Civic. Our second recommendation is the 10th Generation Civic from 2016 to 2021, which represents Honda rediscovering what made the Civic great after the missteps of earlier generations. This generation delivered a comprehensive redesign that addressed criticisms while advancing technology, safety, and refinement. The 10th generation Civic features vastly improved interior quality compared to the disappointing 9th generation models. The materials are soft touch where appropriate, the fit and finish is tight and precise, and the overall ambiance feels more upscale than you'd expect from a compact car. The design is modern and attractive with a digital instrument cluster and higher trims. The seats are comfortable and supportive with good bolstering, and the rear seat offers legitimate adult-sized space. The driving dynamics are excellent, returning the Civic to its roots as an engaging, fun-to-drive compact car. The steering is well-weighted with good feedback. The suspension is tuned to balance comfort and control effectively, and the chassis feels rigid and responsive. The turbocharged 1.5-liter engine available in most trims provides strong performance with excellent fuel economy, delivering over 35 miles per gallon in mixed driving. The continuously variable transmission in the 10th generation Civic is one of Honda's better CVT implementations. It's programmed to simulate gear changes in certain driving modes, which reduces the droning sensation. The manual transmission available in certain trims is excellent with precise, engaging shifts. Both transmission options are proving reliable as these vehicles accumulate mileage. Technology and safety features are comprehensive. Honda Sensing comes standard across the lineup and includes adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, and road departure mitigation. These systems work well without being overly intrusive. The infotainment system is vastly improved with responsive touchscreen operation and reliable Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration. Reliability has been strong for the 10th generation Civic. While the turbocharged 1.5-liter engine did experience some oil dilution issues in cold climates during early production, Honda addressed this with software updates and extended warranties. Current production examples don't exhibit this problem, and overall, the 10th generation Civic is proving durable and trouble-free. The 10th generation Civic offers impressive versatility with multiple body styles including sedan, coupe, and hatchback, plus performance variants like the Psi and Type R. This variety means you can find a 10th generation Civic that precisely matches your needs, whether you prioritize fuel economy, cargo space, or exhilarating performance. 2006-2011 8th generation Civic Si. Here's where things get interesting. Earlier we condemned the 8th generation Civic overall, but there's an exception. The Civic Si from this generation. While the standard 8th generation Civic suffers from engine block cracking and transmission failures, the Si uses completely different powertrains that don't share these problems. The 8th generation Civic Si features a 2.0-liter K20 Z3 engine that's part of Honda's legendary K-Series engine family. This naturally aspirated four-cylinder produces 200 horsepower and revs enthusiastically to 8,000 RPM, delivering a thrilling driving experience. The engine is incredibly reliable with proper maintenance, capable of handling high RPM operation and even modification without issues. The K-Series engines are known for lasting well beyond 200,000 miles with regular oil changes. The 6-speed manual transmission in the 8th generation Si is one of Honda's finest. The shifts are precise and mechanical with short throws and positive engagement. The clutch is light and easy to modulate. This transmission is robust and long-lasting, and because the Si is only available with manual transmission, you avoid the automatic transmission failures plaguing the standard 8th generation Civic entirely. The driving dynamics of the 8th generation Si are exceptional. The suspension is sport-tuned with stiffer springs and dampers, reducing body roll and improving handling precision. The limited slip differential helps put power down effectively through corners. The steering is direct and communicative. The overall package delivers genuine driving engagement that enthusiasts love. The 8th generation Si has developed a strong enthusiast following, which means parts availability is excellent and there's extensive community knowledge about maintenance and modifications. These cars are relatively affordable in the used market because many buyers don't distinguish between the Si and standard 8th generation models, creating opportunities for informed buyers. 1992-1995 5th generation Civic. Our fourth recommendation takes us back to the early 90s with the 5th generation Civic from 1992 to 1995. These Civics represent Honda engineering from an era before cost-cutting compromises, and they've proven themselves as some of the most reliable, longest-lasting vehicles ever built. The 5th generation Civic is mechanically simple in the best possible way. The engines, whether the 1.5-liter in base models or the 1.6-liter in the Si and EX variants, are non-interference designs with timing belts, simple fuel injection, and minimal electronics. This simplicity translates to exceptional reliability and easy maintenance. These engines routinely exceed 300,000 miles with nothing more than regular oil changes and timing belt replacements. The transmissions in the 5th generation Civic, both manual and automatic, are bulletproof. The manual transmissions are precise and durable, still shifting smoothly after decades of use. The automatic transmissions are simple 4-speed units that don't have the complexity or failure modes of later automatics. With regular fluid changes, these transmissions last the life of the vehicle. The driving dynamics remain impressive despite the car's age. The 5th generation Civic is lightweight, typically weighing around 2,400 pounds, which makes it feel nimble and responsive. The steering is direct and communicative, providing excellent feedback and connection to the road. The suspension is well-tuned, delivering a comfortable ride with controlled body motions. Fuel economy is excellent, particularly in the lighter models with smaller engines. Real-world fuel economy of 35 to 40 miles per gallon is achievable, impressive for a vehicle from the early 90s. The simple mechanical systems and lightweight construction contribute to this efficiency. Parts availability remains strong despite the car's age. Because these cars were produced in huge numbers globally and have dedicated enthusiast followings, you can still find virtually any part you might need. Many components are interchangeable with other Honda models from the era. The mechanical simplicity means that many repairs are DIY friendly. The 5th generation Civic has aged remarkably well aesthetically. The clean, simple design still looks attractive today without appearing dated. The compact dimensions make it ideal for urban environments, and the hatchback variants offer surprising cargo versatility. Finding clean examples is increasingly difficult, but well-maintained examples are true gems. There you have it, the 3 worst and 4 best Honda Civic generations for reliability and overall ownership experience. The 8th generation standard models, early 9th generation Civics, and 7th generation automatic transmission models all suffer from significant issues that make them risky purchases. Meanwhile, the 6th generation, 10th generation, 8th generation Si, and 5th generation Civics represent some of the most reliable, well-engineered compact cars ever built. The lesson here is that the Civic nameplate alone doesn't guarantee a good purchase. You need to understand which specific generations represent smart choices versus which ones are best avoided. The good news is that when Honda gets the Civic formula right, they create vehicles that can last decades with basic maintenance. If you're shopping for a used Civic, prioritize the 6th generation from the late 90s, the 10th generation from 2016 and newer, or if you want something special, the 8th generation Ci, consider the 5th generation if you can find a clean example. Avoid the 8th generation standard models, steer clear of the 2012 to 2015 9th generation models, and never buy a 7th generation Civic with an automatic transmission. The Honda Civic has earned its reputation as one of the most reliable nameplates in automotive history, but that reputation is built on specific generations that exemplify Honda's engineering excellence. Choose wisely, focus on the best generations, and you'll enjoy the exceptional reliability and value that made the Civic legendary. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Drop a comment below sharing your own Civic experiences.